May is Maytag month at Lowe's. Save on our exclusive selection of Maytag appliances with collections found only at Lowe's. Get up to $200 via prepaid card by mail on your purchase of select Maytag major appliances, a brand you know and trust. Shop in store or at Lowe's.com. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Manufacturer's rebate. Prepaid card amount varies based on purchase. Offer valid through 6/2. Exclusions, terms, and restrictions apply. U.S. only. May is Maytag month at Lowe's. Save on our exclusive selection of Maytag appliances with collections found only at Lowe's. Get up to $200 via prepaid card by mail on your purchase of select Maytag major appliances, a brand you know and trust. Shop in store or at Lowe's.com. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Manufacturer's rebate. Prepaid card amount varies based on purchase. Offer valid through 6/2. Exclusions, terms, and restrictions apply. U.S. only.
Hello and welcome to jasonnewland.com. My name's Jason Newland and this is Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Hello, all my friends out there. How are you doing? I hope you're well. And please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. Did that sound insincere? How are you? Hope you're well. Now let's get on with it. No, I hope everything is going groovy for you all. Didn't do a recording. Yesterday, well, not one of these, or the day before, I think. Which is quite rare for me, but I did do other stuff. So I was fairly busy. I still made recordings. I just didn't make any of these ones. You know. Oh, blimey. I've just been charged for the website. If anyone out there would like to support me, please go to paypal.me/Jason Newland, or go to my website. The PayPal link is on there. Any little will help. I'm just paying out so much money, but it's okay. It's my own mess I got myself into, but it's part of the growth, I guess. It's part of the growing of the service, and yeah, it is what it is. But I haven't had hardly any PayPal gifts at all for quite a while, actually. I don't mention it that regularly, but I thought I would today, just as I saw another $29 gone out of my account. It's just there seems to be more going out than going in at the moment. That will change, but at the moment that's how it is. Yeah, I've got a bit of a cough still. Yeah, I've actually got a sore chest now. Almost not the collarbone, but just below that, like the tops of my ribs or the chest bone, where I've been coughing so much. But I think it's on its way out. It's not as bad as it was. I suppose it just could have just been a chest infection, but like a mild one. I've had chest infections that have knocked me out for 10 days in the past. Literally, I couldn't do anything, and but cough for 10 whole days, didn't sleep, This wasn't anything like that. This is just a mild chest infection, probably. My family it's one of the things they seem to have, like my dad and my nan both used to get chest infections. Sort of not like every day, but it used to be like an ongoing kind of thing. So that's something to look forward to. I'm recording this at 9:10 a.m. on Friday the 30th of April. Now, I don't do many recordings in the morning, but for some reason, like I did a stress and pain relief podcast episode yesterday, but it ended up being nearly an hour long. Now, in that time, I can normally do 2 podcasts. I could do the relax and pain relief. No, relax and sleep hypnosis daily. So I can do 2 recordings in an hour, a half hour each. By the time I'd finished that recording and edited it and uploaded it and all that stuff, I sat down for a little while and thought, okay, I'll have a little break and then I'll make another recording. And I set the microphone up and I realised that I wanted to go to bed. I was tired. And this is about midnight, 12:30. No, that's it, I'm going to bed. Because I knew that if I started making a recording, I would fall asleep whilst making it. And that's not much good, really, not much use. The downside, I mean, yeah, I can make recordings during the day, but if you can hear, there is the birdies in the trees singing. And I don't mind that with these recordings because this is all about me. Now, this is a very relaxed. Okay, that's a bit silly thing to say because they're all relaxed, but this is a much more relaxed podcast in a sense of informal, I guess you would say. This is dress down day every day with this podcast. So, well, that's a noisy bird. So I'll make these recordings. I'll have Andre in the background sometimes. I'll have the pigeon, Herbert the pigeon, who comes and visits me. He's been following me around for about 17 years. And then I've got, maybe neighbours shouting at each other. Foghorn Annie. So yeah, I'm not. In a way, this is probably the best time for me to make a recording because this is me at my most awake. I get a little bit of a second wave sometimes, in the afternoon, late afternoon, if I've had a nap or whatever. But generally, I'm at my, I feel awake. A little bit tired, but stomach. Oh man, I just walked into the kitchen and I saw a mouse run across the counter, across, where the sink is and to where the boiler is. Big old thing. And I was like, oh really? So I've kind of taken away part of the thing to get to the boiler, and I've put newspaper trying to gap the gap, fill the gaps up. And I haven't seen the thing for weeks. There was a time I go in there for like 3 or 4 days in a row. Every time I went in there, I saw it, and then I duct taped all the cupboards at the bottom shut. I duct taped between the cupboards and the washing machine. I tried to fill in as many of the gaps that it was going into when I saw it, because it was on the floor at this point, hiding behind a cooker and stuff. Never seen it on the counter before. That grossed me out. I'm going to stop licking that counter, I think, from now on. Yeah, it's one of my favourite things is licking the taps. But not anymore. Not anymore. No. I mean, no wonder I got a cough. So, I've ordered a mousetrap, a humane mousetrap. Let me be honest with you. I thought about just killing the thing. Which goes against my personal belief system. It goes, I don't kill things. Well, why aren't you a vegetarian then? Shut up. I don't, I think the only things, the last time I ever killed a living being, myself, purposefully, was when I was probably about 6, stamping on lots of ants in the garden. Since then, I'm not classing humans here, I'm talking about animals. And since then, I don't think I have. I gave mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to a budgie once. And I think I popped it. And I'm not sure if it was dead or not. And then I thought, well, if it's alive, I can test that by dropping it out of a window of a three-story house that I was living in. And I dropped it, felt it fly, but it didn't. And then it was dead. But I don't think I killed it. I think it was already, because I came home, because I've talked about this before, the house I used to live in was freezing cold. It was just, I'm talking about poor choices that I've made. Why would you buy a house that was freezing cold and still have it being freezing cold? Here's my view, okay? If you can't afford, right? If you can't afford to keep your children warm, you shouldn't have children. That's my rule. If you can't afford to at least keep the little horrible creatures warm, then what are you doing? And we had everything, it's what's weird about it is we weren't poor. In a sense of, my dad's worked really hard, very successful at what he did. We lived in a huge house, massive garden. He had 2 cars or 3 cars at one point. He had a van and a car and a caravan and all kinds of stuff. The house was lovely inside, all furniture, it's like everything. Loads of toys, loads of stuff. But he didn't want the heating on. Plenty of food. It's like we didn't go hungry. It was like great food, everything. But he wouldn't put the heating on. He wouldn't put the heat. I've never been so angry. He just... What? He's one of these... I call it an idiot mind. It doesn't mean the person's an idiot, but they've got an idiot mind for that particular thing. Part of his brain just doesn't work. So the idiot mind is very much a man thing, for this particular thing that I've noticed, to do with the thermostat on the heating. I don't know why. I don't know. I know it's a cliche that men are kind of tuned into the thermostat. I think I am a little bit here. But I won't be cold. I won't be denied. I won't be cold. What's the point of being cold? I'm not going to sit in here with 3 jumpers on in order to save myself, 50 pence or a couple of pound. I generally don't care what the bill is. Oh, get a smart meter. Then you can see every single penny you're using all the time. Yeah, that's going to be relaxation inducing, isn't it? Watching the telly and seeing how much you're spending. Yeah, can't think of any other way to relax than that. It's like, why don't we go a step further? Every hour the TV just brings a broadcast saying, you now owe an extra £1.50. And then just going back to the TV, no. Stick your smart meter up your smart buttocks smart meter. I actually spoke to them on the phone. And they said, well, you have a smart meter. I said, no, you're right. Someone came in my house. Yeah, get a smart, no. I said, well, you get a little thing and you can watch it and see what you spent. Why would I want that? They said, oh, but you don't have to have it. You just put it in the cupboard. Well, what's the point then? What's the point in giving me something that I'm not going to use? They want it because it saves them money. Because they can see exactly what you've used and they can do the bills. They haven't got to come round. You know, they can get rid of some of their employees. Gets rid of another job for, that's used to be quite popular. Meter reader. There used to be people working full time going around people's houses and checking the meters, the electric and gas. They used to be like a job. I don't think it is anymore. Technology, isn't it? All about technology. I don't mind technology. I love technology, but not if it takes away people's jobs. And for me, technology should be stress reducing, not the opposite. Now, what did I do? Yeah, I had my water bill come through yesterday and I paid it. I try and pay my bills straight away as soon as I get it. It's one of my things. I don't like to leave them, so I just get it paid. And what I did, it said on there you can do it by the app. So I put in, search for the app, found it, logged in using the, I set an account up to connect it to my account, and that was easy. And then I can make a payment simply, really simple. Put in my card details, and they save the card details. So next time I can just pay it in literally seconds, rather than faffing around. But it was quite easy before. It wasn't difficult. But then they said, thank you for joining us and thank you for becoming paperless, a paperless customer. So they're not going to be sending me bills anymore. I want bills. Bills are a part of identity, is a way to prove who you are by showing an electric or gas bill or a water bill or a bank account, bank account thingy statement. In fact, I needed to do that the other day online. They asked for that, a copy of that to be shown. A copy of a utility bill, as well as a passport, not instead of, but as well as. Now all these companies are taking them away, more and more, trying to get. It's just like a moan, isn't it? It's because of that blimmin' mice, that mousy thing. Anyway, I've ordered on Amazon a mouse trap. Now, I was thinking about just getting an electrocuting it. I was thinking about it. I can't. And the weird thing about it is, I was angry when I saw it today, and we've got the whole building's infested. Mine is probably the least infested out of the whole building, probably because of Andre. They don't want to come near him. He will eat that. He's a predator. He's one of their predators. I mean, even cats are less scary to a mouse because they'll play with a mouse. Cats don't even want to catch them really, or even eat them. They just want to play with them. And I've lived in houses with cats. You're more likely to have a mouse if you've got a cat than if you don't have a cat. And those people who are cat lovers out there, no, it's not true. Yeah, trust me. They'll catch them and they'll bring them in. If they can. The only reason I leave them on the doorstep it's because they, it's like, I'll leave it there, it's dead, I don't want to bring it in if it's dead. But if it's still alive, they'll bring it in so they can play with it later. I've seen it at least 4 times. It's, literally seeing cats bring mice into the house. I lived in one house that had, I think, 4 cats, and the place was full of mice. Full of them. Admittedly, the cats did try and catch them, but it's almost, that house might have had no mice at all at one point, and then one of the cats caught one in the graveyard, because we lived near a graveyard, brought it in to play with it. It was pregnant, and then it started having babies and all that. Cats are not a deterrent for mice. And I thought, you think they would be, wouldn't you? I've seen enough cartoons. Dogs. The dogs are supposed to be, a good deterrent. More for rats than mice, because mice are a little bit too small for big dogs. Obviously, little dogs, not so much. They can do it, but they're not so much a deterrent as a catch. Like on farms and that, the dog won't deter the rats, but the dog will catch the rats. So, keep them at a minimum. Yeah. Anyway, I went onto Amazon and there was all these little pictures of these cute little mice standing by the humane mouse traps. And some of the non-humane ones, the names of them, like cat jaw and mouse squasher. It's like, no, you're right. I don't want to start killing now. I think I've done all right up till now to not be killing things. I think I'll stick to it. Stick to not doing it. But then, if you go to if you really go a little bit deeper on it, every time we have a shower, we commit genocide because we're killing millions and millions of living beings which are on us. So depends how you look at it, what your value is on a living being. Because every time we walk down the street, we're squashing lots of things. You walk on the grass, how many little worms and spiders and all that kind of stuff do you end up squashing accidentally? Oh, that's the point. I have squashed a few spiders. Yeah, so that I'm just thinking about the ant thing when I was 6. I haven't killed a spider probably since I was a teenager, because I stopped being scared of them. I used to be scared of them. I learned that from my stepmum, because she would literally wet herself if she saw a spider. She learnt it from her mum. Once I realised that I learnt it from her, the good thing about it is because I no longer had an emotional connection with my stepmum. So it kind of broke any kind of other stuff that went with it, like having learnt phobias, having opinions or behaviours, all that stuff. It kind of, all of that died with it, if that makes sense. So spiders don't bother me at all. A tarantula, yeah, fair enough. I would definitely not want to. Yeah, that's something different. But just a general house spider, don't care. If I see one in the corner, I could sleep with it in the room. Honestly, I have done many times. Which is the title of this recording. I Sleep with Spiders. Yeah, that's a good title, isn't it? What kind of image can I get for that one? Wow. So yeah, I've got a humane. It was about £10. It's just not a lot of money. So it's about £10, and it's a big see-through one. and it's quite big as well. So what I'll do is I'll just leave it in the kitchen. I really want to exterminate them all. There is a big part of me that wants to do that. And I know I'll tell you why. Partly is because my friend's cooker blew up the other day. Well, about a couple of months ago. So, and he's got mice. So I'm thinking the mice tampered with the wires or whatever, which caused the cooker to blow up. But it knocked in the other side of the room. And so that could have been very, very serious. So my kettle stopped working yesterday. It's probably not related, but it kept tripping the switch. The lights kept going off. Luckily, the storage room where the the control center or whatever, fuse box, I don't know, and there's a light in there that's always on. I don't know how that works, but that's really handy, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to see nout. But I didn't know the light stayed on or could be used for the first probably 4 years of living there. So I used to going in there, holding my phone, trying to see what I was doing, not realising that all I had to do is put the light switch on. I assumed that the whole place, if all the other lights didn't work, that wouldn't either. But I was wrong. And that's it, really. So I got that coming through. Didn't really want to have to spend money for a mouse trap, but I seem to have a tendency of buying stuff and then other people using them. Why don't they buy stuff themselves? That's why it's like, if you need a mousetrap, go and buy a mousetrap. But I seem to end up lending my stuff. I need it up here now. I can't be lending stuff anymore. I need a mousetrap up here. I'm going to get some of those electrical... they send off a high-pitched thing, which is supposed to be very irritating to little mouse's ears. So I'm going to maybe... I already had one before in the hallway. I might get some more. Maybe not today, but maybe in the next couple of weeks, and try and put one in every room. It's a specific frequency, but it don't affect Andre. He's too big. It only affects the really little animals. And trust me, if it affected him, he'd let me know. I was a little bit worried that it would, because the other one, I thought, I wonder if that's going to bother him. But he was asleep right next to it. So it was near the radiator in the hallway, and he was asleep under the radiator. The whatever pitch or megahertz or whatever it is that came out of that little contraption that you plug in, he wasn't affected. Talking about plugins, maybe I should get one of those plug-in aroma things, scented things for the hallway. Just make it smell a bit better. See, I don't like synthetic smells. Really. Not really a big fan of perfume or any of that kind of stuff. Anything, but at least that's not really, well, it is kind of synthetic, but I guess it is, and it's chemical, isn't it, perfume? But I'm talking more like air freshener, yeah, I used to have a friend that would always using that kind of crap. Like, he'd plug it in, and it'd just be choking me, like, ugh, God, it's just horrible. And it'd spray out. It'd spray, outward basically squirt every maybe hour or two. It's like, what's wrong with you? Can you just turn it off while I'm here? Another thing you do is have a light right next to the television. A nice bright light right next to it. It's like, it's distracting me. I want to watch a television. All I want to do is look at the light now. I can't. I just have to have things the way I want them to be. I know. It's wrong. It's terrible, isn't it? It's terrible. I think that would be one of my biggest nightmares is if I lived with someone to come home and see everything's rearranged. The TV's now on the other wall. The settee's on the other side. I would be so angry. Honestly, it's like, what have you done? So the thing is, I'd have to make sure I never got with someone that was like that. Because I had a cousin who I used to rent a room off, and she was like that. I mean, literally, I'm sure like in 1 month, I think she changed her room around about 3 times, the living room. There's a big dissatisfaction within her, just generally in life, which was never going to be sorted by changing a room around. She needed to change her whole life around. She needed just to be happy, basically, and I hope she is, but she wasn't then. She's quite a miserable person. But a lot of that it's just, I think that was just, she wasn't doing, she was living in East London, which is a pretty grimy place to live back then. It's hard to really feel any kind of identity in a place where you're pretty much the odd one out, which was the case in that area at that time. It's hard to kind of feel a sense of, not that didn't bother me personally, but I know some people, like the older generation, struggled with it. You know, how London changed from the 60s to, between the 60s and the 90s, London changed so much. I mean, the whole country changed, but I think London, and maybe other like cities, changed hugely, and became much more people, and more expensive to live. I mean, now it's priced itself out, London has, but I couldn't afford to live there now. I couldn't afford to live in London. I would have to be, I mean, some places they charge they want £1,000 a week to rent a flat. £1,000 a week. £1,000 a week. 52 grand a year just to rent a flat. 52 grand. If I was earning 50 grand a year, I would class myself as doing quite well, actually. And in my mind, I would think, I could move to London. I could go and live somewhere nice. So to me, London is, I like London. I can't help it. I do. But I know it's a bit of a struggle for some people from the old, it's like, there's no one like me anymore. There's just too many people, don't know anyone. I like that. I like not knowing people. I like the anonymity of being able to just go for a walk and not have to stop and speak to anyone or say hello to anyone or try and remember people's names or anything like that. Just to be able to just walk, go somewhere. And I mean, the good thing is if you get to know the shopkeepers, like with me, the laundrette lady, if I fancied a chat and I was walking past the laundrette, I just pop in there and have a cigarette with her and just have a chat with her. Or I go into the corner shop. There was this one corner shop that I used to go into, and in Stratford, and I used to stand in there for hours chatting, because there was two blokes in there. There was the owner, and there was another one who used to call me Ponytail, because I used to have long hair back then. This is like the early 90s, and I used to stand in there and chat. We used to have a good old laugh. And I did that for a couple of years. But then I could come out of there and not know anyone, and it was great. I remember, this isn't funny, but I remember I'm walking up towards a shop one day, and there's these two blokes running past me. And the other bloke, I didn't realise he was security, the one that used to chat to me, called me Ponytail. But he was in there, he was running after them. And I said, what's wrong? And they'd just been burgled at gunpoint. It's like, wow. I mean, what are you really going to get from a corner shop? How much money do you think there's really going to be in the till? Couple of hundred? I mean, you're going to risk going to prison for 7 years for a couple of £100. Because, armed robbery is it's a fairly serious thing here. So, and also there's the added seriousness of it, because just having a gun is quite a lengthy prison sentence, because guns aren't freely available here. They're not as popular as they are in other countries. I think here, to get a gun, generally you need to be a farmer. Farmers shouldn't be allowed guns. They're one of the worst people to have guns. Don't give a farmer a gun. Give him a catapult. Give him a stick. At the very most, a taser maybe, not a gun. I mean, I don't like. It's not that I don't like farmers, because obviously I'm not into that. Like, I don't like one. There's millions of farmers, but I have had a gun stuck in my face, shotgun stuck in my face when I was about 5 years old. Me and my brothers were running in a field on a farm, and this farmer, complete idiot, should have gone to prison for a long time for what he did there. You can't point a gun and threaten to shoot 3 little kids. But he did. So I had this gun. Twice I've had guns pointed at me. And luckily, one of our, a friend, I don't know who he was, I don't know if he was from the children's home or wherever, but he walked up and said, "No, it's okay. They're good lads. Please don't kill them." And there's still a part of me would love. The bloke's probably dead, long dead now. He was an old git then. Imagine, 40, 45 years later, he's probably. But I'd love to stick a gun in his face. Say, "How does it feel?" Sticking guns in children's faces, man. It's just, that's like a serious crime, isn't it? That should be like, 20 years minimum. That's it. I'm quite hardcore when it comes to prison sentences. I'd be putting everyone in prison. Every thief. That's it. They'd be in prison. That'd be it. All liars. Anyone that lies. Not make stuff up. I'm talking about lie. There's a difference between a liar and people that tell lies. A liar, I think we must have all met. I know I have met someone that's just a liar, and they don't deserve to be on the planet. Really, they just don't deserve to be in society. unfortunately, I know lots of people that don't deserve to be in society, or have done over the years. So yeah, it's good that I'm not in any kind of power politically, because oh God, I'd get really bad press because I would be hardcore. That's why I'd never want to have that responsibility, because I would bring the death penalty. I'd bring the death penalty back. I would. Honestly, even for people like milkmen that whistle too early in the morning, death penalty. Honestly, I'm hardcore. I don't mess about. I always thought it'd be quite good if there was. We should make court a bit more interesting. Have it on live TV, not the court bit and all the bull that goes on with the lawyers, because the lawyers are in cahoots with each other anyway. So whether it's a prosecutor or the defending lawyer, they're up each other's bums. They're basically, they know each other already. They probably might have trained together. And at the end of the court case,